Hi, we sell a lot of these 997s here, and while they're great cars and really there's not a whole lot that goes wrong with them, one of the things we find a lot in a lot of examples is the AC controls. Porsche used kind of a soft touch material on the fan and temp button. As a result, they go sticky and need to be corrected. So I'm going to show you how to take care of this problem, and we'll link all the tools needed. There's not a lot of them, and also we'll have a link to where you can purchase the 2 switches that you need to buy in order to rebuild these. So we have one here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So those buttons, so what happens is over time the coating that's on there just goes soft and sticky, and then when you run your finger across them, they just kind of leave a weird residue on them, and the paint just comes off. Now, unfortunately, the only way that you can fix it with a Porsche part is to buy the actual control unit, which is about $1,000. So I'm going to show you today how you can fix the one you have for just slightly over $100. Okay, now the first step is obviously just to take the control unit out of the center console. I'm going to show you how to do this. It doesn't require a lot of tools. Actually, the only thing you would need is a number 20 and 30 Torq Driver, and if you have the Bose system, also a 25. Now the bolts to take out are simple. You have one right here. So once you take that out, you have 2 more, one right here and here. I've already taken those out. Okay, the passenger side is pretty much the same as the driver side. You have this bolt right here, and then 2 bolts there and there, which I've already taken out. In a bit I'll show you how to take out the Bose system, because it's slightly different. Okay, so now that we got the screws out, we're going to take these side panels out. I've already taken this one out. They're both the same. When you take these out, the thing you have to be careful is that there's a tab right here that's kind of delicate. It could break, so it's got to come straight out this way. You can't wiggle it or do anything real weird with it. The way I do it is I just grab it from back here. There's one side, and then I push from the back. There we go. And then it just, on this side, because of the glove box, you'll have to open the glove box, but it just comes right out. Okay, so for cars with the Bose subwoofer, it's a little bit different on this end. This is the subwoofer box. To get this off, you're going to pull this out, just come straight out. There's a screw right there. That's the I believe 25, the T25. Torq Driver will take that out. Once this bolt comes out, this slides out. The other bolts are just the same as all the other cars. And installation, exactly just the reverse. Slide it back in, put the bolt back in here, and then this just slides in like that. Okay, so to take this out, first, move the shifter out of the way. If it's a tip, you're gonna have to turn the ignition and actually put it into drive, then turn the car back on. It won't come out with it in park. Now there's 2 tabs, one here and one on the other side in the exact same spot. You're gonna push with your fingers on each side, push them, and then just the whole unit slides out. Once it's out, you're gonna unplug this side, unplug this one, and that's it. Unit's out. Okay, so here's the unit out of the car, and these are the only tools we really need to do this job. This is a Torq Driver. The size is a number 6, and then this is just a little flathead. I just use this for the pin, but you can really use anything in place of this. Okay, the first thing we have to do is, some units have a little piece of tape that you can just kind of peel off There you go, and it reveals a screw. They don't all have this piece of tape. If they do peel it off, there's one on each corner, and there's 4 screws, one on each corner. And you just take that screw out. And repeat for the other 4 corners. Okay, so I've got the 4 screws out. There was one there, one there, one there, one there. And these 2 that hold the fan, those don't need to come out. So once you have those out, this front just kind of pops right out. Once you reveal the circuit board, you'll see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screws. These screws, by the way, are identical to the ones that held the face on. So if you mix them up, it's not a big deal. They're exactly the same tool to take them off. So we're just going to take off these 9 screws. They're always pretty loose. Okay, so there's all the screws out. So now when you kind of peel, you take off the circuit board, the LCD screen, sometimes it sticks to it. I usually just go ahead and remove it because it's easier. This is also a good time to clean this because you can see there's always crud on here, and it's the perfect time to clean it. Also, make sure, try not to split it up. If you do, just remember the configuration. It's there's a white piece here, glossy side down, and then the glass dull side up. If you take it apart, remember which way it went together. And then there's also a piece in here that slides out. It's going to come apart here, so I'm not going to do it for this video. So we'll clean that later. And I like to remove this rubber also. We'll take that out, and then that reveals the switches that we need to take out. Now, the way I like to do it is I like to put my finger here and press this way on them, and then I like to pry these tabs open with my screwdriver here. And as I'm prying them, I just push, then this one, now they're out, and then I push on this piece, and that's out. Then I can push on this one, and the switch falls out. And I take these 2 little nubs out of there also. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this side. Okay, so I've got all the switches out. I went ahead and cleaned everything up, the LCD screen. I went ahead and wiped down the face here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is these 4 nubs, we're going to go back in. We'll do them one, they only go in one way. There's a little tab here, and they kind of tapered, so they can only go one way. They won't go any other way. So just stick those 4 in there. Okay, and then we have our new switches, and by the way, there'll be a link in the description that'll tell you where you can buy these. There's a few different places that make them, but these ones really work the best, and they look exactly like the factory ones. You can kind of see the difference there. Now keep in mind the temp always goes on the left, so I'll do that one first. Just kind of stick it in there and just kind of wiggle it around. It'll make its way in. There, that one's done. And then the fan goes on the right. Same thing, just wiggle it around. Done. Okay. And now assembly is pretty much exactly the reverse of what we did before. We'll put the rubber back on. And everything pretty much just goes back one way. If you, things can't be fit in opposite of what they came in. Then I'll put my LCD screen back in. This is a little fidgety, but there we go. Then I'll line my board up and we start putting screws back in. Okay, so this is all the screws back in, and I count them just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Then this just kind of pops back, and now I'm going to put these screws back in place. Okay, that's the last screw. Now, if you have the felts and you want to put them back on, you can just do that at this point. And just put all 4 of them back on and you'll be done. And then there you have the new piece, brand new looking. So next we'll put it back in the car. Okay, so installation is just the reverse of before. Red wire goes here, black wire goes here on the furthest slot. These 2 tabs have to fall into these 2 slots and clips right in. The 2 panels go in. This one's the one on this side, you might have to, sometimes it goes in easy like this time. Put the 2 end pieces on, tighten all the screws. I would suggest that you test it before you finish the screws. We've already tested it and it works fine. And that's it, pretty easy. The whole thing took probably about 25 to 30 minutes start to finish. Okay, so I got everything back together and you can kind of see how it looks now. Basically it looks brand new, and the coating on these new buttons actually match the ones up here and the ones up here, so everything's, if anything, I think it probably looks a little better than the original ones, because these were a little matte finished and they always look different than the other ones. Anyway, there you have it.